Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Just a second. Manojavam marutatulyavegam jitendriyam buddhimatam varishtam vatatmajam vanarayutamukhyam Shri Ramadutam namami. Where is okay. It may be late if we do this bhajan. Okay. Straight. So today we shall talk about a wise man. What are the characteristics of a wise man? See, we all are interested in knowing about a wise man, because somewhere inside us we all know that we have not reached that stage. We are not contented, and sometimes with all the luxuries, with everything, we still find ourselves to be unhappy. There are situations and circumstances in life which, when they occur, we are shaken up, we cannot handle them, and we have a picture in our minds of a person who is always in control of himself, remains composed, and is not in any way affected by situations, and he doesn't depend upon anything for his happiness. We may have heard about such a person from Shastra, from reading the religious literature, etc. And that is why we are all anxious, plus we all are very eager to know about such a person. In Bhagavad Gita, plus in our Shastras, in Upanishads, they do talk about a wise man. And the characteristics, the salient, the main characteristic of such a person is this, that he is happy in himself, by himself. This is the chief characteristic. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita describes him as Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna means his wisdom. He abides in the wisdom, and his wisdom is unshaken in any kind of situation. Sthita Prajna yasya saha Sthita Prajna. One whose prajna, one whose abidance, one whose wisdom always abides in knowledge. And what is his main characteristics? Bhagavan says, Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha. He is happy in himself, by himself. So, according to Shastra, this one is the most successful man. This is the real picture of success. Generally speaking, success, which we know, goes by the name of wealth, position, power, luxuries. This is all we connect with success. But it has been experienced, and we all know that in spite of having all this, one may be unhappy. One may not feel inside. We may call such people successful, but they are still looking for happiness. They are not contented in themselves. Something or the other keeps on propelling them. So that is not real success. What is the real success? Where you find happiness, contentment, fulfillment in yourself. This is the real picture of success. And Lord Krishna in our Shastra do present such a man. In Upanishads also we find description of such a person. It has been said in one of the Upanishads that the wise man is one who is Atma Kridaha, Atma Ratihi. He always revels in himself. Atma Kridaha, Atma Ratihi. He finds happiness in himself. And in Gita very, very clearly describes such a person in second chapter, in the very second chapter. So, when we look at our lives or the lives of ignorant people, ignorant is nothing wrong, but we have not found that happiness because we do not know the reality. So, an ignorant person is the one who has to look for happiness outside of himself. It never occurs that happiness can be in me, and therefore they always look for happiness outside of themselves. Majority of people fall in this category. There is the world before you. There are two kinds of projections. One is this, that I am not complete as I find myself to be. Everybody thinks that they are inadequate. They are incomplete. And the world is there before them from which they try to seek happiness. So the conclusion is that happiness lies outside of me and I have to find it. And that is why in the life of an ignorant man we see that they are constantly, right from the birth, they are constantly looking for happiness in things, places, persons, objects. The whole world before them and everything, things of the world promises this happiness to them. And they continue to seek this happiness outside of themselves. And that is why we have seen that we always look for happiness right from childhood. If we inspect our life, if we analyze all the experiences that we go through, we will find that in childhood also we were looking for happiness. But at that time, objects of happiness were different. That time, we wanted toys, chocolates, and things like that. Then as we grew up, the nature of the objects were different. But still, the person seeking happiness remains the same. And then comes youth, then comes old age, but one thing remains constant. And what is that? We continue to seek happiness. One desire is replaced by other desire. I seek something, I get it, and then that is not the end of the story. Whatever I want, I try to get. I enjoy it also, but that is not the end of it. After some time, again, the incompleteness registers itself. And again, you want something. You are tired or bored with what you have. Now you want something else. You pursue that. You go after that. Work for it. And in this manner, a lot of our time and energy goes in pursuing happiness. till the end. This story continues till the end. And what is the main thing that happens? One desire replaces other desire. Objects are replaced by other objects. But one thing remains the same. And what is that? The desirer remains the same. The desiring remains intact. No matter what he gets. Which points to a very big thing. That the world doesn't seem to have what I am seeking. Now we look into the life of we look into a wise man. His case is entirely different. Due to the teaching of the scriptures which he got from his teacher, he has found the fountain of happiness right within himself. Within himself doesn't mean inside, but he has found it. What has he found? That I am of the nature of happiness. Satchit Ananda, Atma, the very core of my being is nothing but happiness. It is existent, it is consciousness, plus it is happiness. This is my nature. This is the nature not only of the wise man, it is a fact about everyone, about each and every being. This is the fact. It's not that only wise man has this happiness. It is embedded. It is hidden in everybody's heart. Only thing is, ignorant people do not know this. But wise man has found it. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. Atmani in Atma. Atmani eva atmanyeva atmana. Atmana means by his own self. In his own self he has found. Tushtaha. He is contented. What is there? What is there in him? Nothing but Atma. But that Atma itself, that consciousness itself, the self itself is raso vaisaha. It is nothing but rasa. Rasa means happiness. Rasa means anandaha. Rasa means joy. Imagine Atma, my very self, is nothing but of the nature of joy. This is a fact, but we don't know about this. And today, this is covered behind ignorance. But the fact remains the same, that everybody's self is nothing, but if there are not many selves, there is just one self, and it is of the nature of happiness. And that is why one who knows this then becomes independent. Regardless of whether things are there or not, people are there or not, objects are there or not, he is happy. His happiness doesn't depend upon anything. Nothing of this world really, there is absolutely now no desire within him. That is why Lord Krishna says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Bhagavan says that when all the desires drop from the heart, then he is happy in himself, by himself. And then he is called sthita prajnaha. But here we will like to add that desires don't drop on their own. Desires will not drop by themselves, and we cannot even drop desires. As long as ignorance is there, as long as we do not know ourselves, see, our life is based upon ignorance. It is a big irony that we have built our life on ignorance. And what is the ignorance? About my very nature, about who I am, not an ordinary thing. I do not know who I am. It's a very big thing. We may know many things about the world and what is there on planet, when such and such planet on the moon and sun and everywhere. But we do not know who I am. And on this, on the foundation of ignorance, we have built our life. And that is why we are always incomplete. We are always a seeker. And the difference in the wise man is this, that he has found it. He has found it. Upanishad says, Brahmavid apnoti param. Brahmavid, I'll explain this. These are the statements which reveal big things. It says Brahmavid, one who knows Brahman. What is this Brahman? Brahman is nothing but Atma. But Brahman is that reality which is all pervasive, which encompasses everything. The entire concept of time and space and this entire creation is due to Brahman, within Brahman, that is within consciousness. And that is my true nature. See, look at the dimension. Today, due to ignorance, what do we think about ourselves? I am only this much. I means this body, this mind, this sense organs, this limited complex is what I am. My boundary of I ends here. And then you begins. And then what begins? Everything is you. I is only this much. I am so small. Imagine when you have this perception as the fundamental building block of life, then what happens? You are immensely insignificant. Immensely insignificant. Then what is our place in the universe? Just a speck, not even a speck. And then naturally we feel limited. What I am not is immensely big. Naturally, then I'm going to feel incomplete and limited. But the truth is entirely different. The truth is entirely different. I am not limited in any way. I is not bound by time, not bound by space, not bound by any kind of objectivity or limitations. The boundary of I is not limited to this body, it is everywhere, everything. There is not a single thing where I am not. Do you understand what I am saying? There is not a single thing or place or anything in this vast, vast, vast universe where I am not. Sarva bhutastham atmanam. Upanishad says, Sarva bhutastham. In all beings I am there. Sarva bhutani cha atmani. And all beings are in me. This may sound too much today. This may sound too much to swallow also, to believe. But understand, this is the fact. This is the fact. So we have to come out and from the sense of limitations. So the entire perception of I, the entire understanding of I has to undergo a change. And not this small I, which I call ego, which may be a woman or a man, some education, child, son or daughter of so and so, etc., engineer, doctor, this, that. I'm not talking about that ego. I'm now that ego is limited. But the reality, the fact, the existent fact about the I is what? It is limitless. Everything is in it. Everybody is because of me. Matstani sarva bhutani. Lord Krishna says. I'm just giving you an idea of what this I is and what we have taken it to be. obviously then we will be unhappy. We will remain a seeker all our lives, not just one life. So if we don't come to know this, there is not going to be an end to our seeking in this life and in other lives too. This will continue because in the absence of the true knowledge about who I am, what will happen? I will take myself to be what? Limited. And in limitation, ignorance will breed limitations. And from that sense of limitation, what will arise? What is the natural consequence of ignorance when you feel limited? What will arise? Tell me. Think and tell me. Huh? Desires. There will be many desires. It's bound to be. So desires are a natural consequence of what? Ignorance. When ignorance means avidya. Avidya of what? Avidya, ignorance not of this thing, but ignorance of who I am. Not an ordinary thing. I don't know who I am. And I have taken myself to be limited. A limited mortal being. So naturally there will be desires, and not just one or two desires. Desires will keep on arising, because with one desire, when one desire arose, I tried to fulfill it. I got the object also which I wanted, but very soon, what has been our experience? Very soon, what has been our experience? Now what next? What next? I have visited this place. Now next year, which place? Vacation in some other place. What next? What new? Our mind continues to crave. What does that say? That the previous object did not fulfill me. It did not have the capacity to fulfill me. So I looked for another. I experienced that. Wasted my time, energy. So much of investment I made in that. But even that comes for a while and then again leaves me high and dry. Then what next? What next? What next? If we pay attention, if we analyze our experiences, then Upanishad says what? It will strike to us. What will strike to us? Oh my God, there is nothing absolutely which is making me fulfilled, which is giving me what I want. Otherwise, by this time, at the end of 80 or 85 or 90 years, I should be a fulfilled person. All happy, all contented, always happy. On the contrary, what we find? We are the same. In spite of things around us, in spite of all this. So, we have to analyze our experiences. What did they give me? At what cost? And what am I after that? If we analyze in this way, then experiences are saying this, that you are the same person. The entire world doesn't have the capacity to fulfill you. Not one, just few things. The entire creation, no matter what you have. Pariksha lokan, karma chitan, brahmanaha nirve. When one thinks in this manner, one who thinks in this manner is intelligent, doesn't let the experiences pass, looks at them, weighs the pros and cons, and thinks, oh my God, what have I lost? And what is the net gain? An astute businessman would think, what did I lose? What did I gain? What is the net profit? Similarly, when we pause, when we stop and think in this manner, before running to fulfill a desire, a time should come in our lives when we stop and think in this manner. What am I doing? Again running after different things. The earlier one did not give me anything. Took away so much from me. took away. Shvobhavaha. Everything came and went away. And they depleted me. The irony is that even though they do not give me anything, I don't see that. And at the end of it, I am depleted. Because all the experiences which comes from objects outside, I have to pay a big price. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. They take away something from me. So, when you think in this manner, then it's quite possible that the nature of the world, there is nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful as it is. But we have to understand what it can give and what it cannot give. It cannot fulfill me because my desire is for infinite. We have to recognize and understand our real desire. It is for infinite. I want limitless. And tell me, which object of the world, which person of the world, which place of the world, which position of the world has power to give me that infinite? And infinite cannot be even the addition of finite things. Finite plus finite, what will be the result? Finite plus finite plus finite plus finite, and still will be finite. And what am I seeking? Infinite. It's not there. This is a big understanding. This is a big understanding. And life, we go through enough experiences in life. Everybody goes through enough experiences in life to be able to come to this conclusion. You need not go to Shastra for this. That is what Arjuna recognized. That is what Arjuna came to know when? In the battlefield, as he entered. And he himself wanted to fight, but having come to the battlefield, and when he came to know that, oh my God, I have to fight with my own people, and then he sank in the ocean of sorrow. In that mood, in that sorrow, when he felt tremendously, he was grieving. At that time, suddenly, his thinking took a different direction. His thinking took a different direction. And what did he arrive at? That so far absolutely nothing has fulfilled me. And he came to the conclusion that even if I get the kingdom of the entire three worlds, avapya bhumau asapatnam ruddham, even then I will not be fulfilled. Then what am I doing? Where is that which I am seeking? Where is it? And he came to know that the person, his friend, his charioteer before him who was standing, Lord Krishna, seems to know that. And so he surrendered and requested for the teaching. And what was his demand now? What is Arjuna's demand now? Please tell me, teach me about that which is definitely certain, which is infallible. Yat shreyasyat nishchitam tanme bruhi. That which is definitely good, which is nothing for which you don't have to pay any price, which is limitless. Tell me about that. His demand was very clear. When this curiosity, when this jignyasa arises, then this knowledge comes in our life. This knowledge This search, this quest can come to an end when this desire arises in us. Where is it? I'm not able to find anywhere. It happened in the life of Buddha also, Siddhartha. It has happened in lives of all great people. Suddenly they recognize that I'm fumbling. I'm not finding anything. Arjuna, it happened with Arjuna. It happened with Naradji. Naradji was such a great scholar, but he also came to know this. And then he goes to Sanat Kumara and gets the knowledge of what? Bhuman. Now, Sanat Kumara says that what you have, is all limited. And limited can never give you lasting joy. Then where is that joy? He says it is in Bhuman. Bhuman means Brahman. Bhuman means limitless. And where is that? Where is that? He says you are that. You are that. You are that limitless joy. Wise man has come to know this and he abides in this. This knowledge has become very strong. He doesn't have to think anymore that who am I? Who am I? Plus the entire concept of I has changed. For him now the I is everything. Plus beyond that. See, the reality of I is this, that it is immanent plus it is transcendental, which means it is beyond this also. It is immanent, means sarvavyapi, all pervasive, but not limited to this, because worlds come and go. One by one, yugas, they come and go. The self is beyond all this, and he very well abides in this knowledge. And that is why he has now become completely independent. He doesn't depend upon anything outside of himself for this. This is the chief characteristic of a wise man. Do you mean to say, Swamini, that then there are no desires in his mind? His mind is, all empty? Not a single desire or a thought comes into him? No. Desires do arise. But now the nature of those desires have changed. Desires do come in them also. They also go to places. They also teach. They also move about. But now the form of the desire is non-binding. So far, the desires there are two kinds of desires. One are binding desires, and one are non-binding desires. What is the meaning of binding desires? Binding desires means when a desire arises, when there is a kamana, that I want this. Just as Ravana had the desire for Sita. He wanted her. But what kind of desire was that? Binding desire. I must have it. I must have an object. If I don't get it by fair means, then the pressure of that desire is so much that it will not let me live in peace unless that desire is fulfilled. So I must fulfill it. I must make effort for that. That is called binding desires, which when they are not fulfilled, then I'm unhappy. I am in stress. There is restlessness inside. No contentment. Why? Because it continues to bother me. It is like an insect going into our ears. Or it is like this, a small pebble in our shoes. Can we walk with that? Can we do jogging with that? It bothers us so much, pain in the neck. Similarly, these desires are called binding desires. Whereas the other set of desires are non-binding. Non-binding means in the mind, desires come. Now let me go to US. Let me go to this place. Let me go to that place. But what is the reason? Actually, in a wise man, desires are placed by Bhagavan. Because now he is totally pure, totally content. So Bhagavan now uses him. This person and his body and his mind and all his talents and all his knowledge are utilized by Bhagavan to fulfill Bhagavan's purpose. What is the purpose of Ishvara? To run this creation, and wherever this person may be needed, Bhagavan will send him. So, even if certain, supposing he wants to donate some money for a cause, but somehow it doesn't work. He doesn't have his own money. Where will he get money from? But he raises funds for that. But still, if it doesn't work, the project doesn't work, then also he won't feel that it's the end of the world. Okay, maybe, that's okay, fine. Ishvara doesn't want it. So desires come, but they don't bind him. Even if they are not fulfilled, it doesn't matter to him. Whereas in the case of ignorant, what happens when the desires are not fulfilled? Their happiness is gone. Their happiness depends upon the fulfillment of a certain desire. So totally controlled by that object. So desires really control me. Whereas this person is free to have the desires. If they are fulfilled, fine. If they are not fulfilled, then also fine. Then also fine. It is like, I will give you an example. When father and son are playing with marble, with some toys, both of them are playing. Now, if the son loses, then he has big problem. He will start crying also. But if the father loses, sometimes he makes the child win to see that he is happy. But for father it is fun. Whether you win or you lose, your happiness doesn't depend upon it. Same thing. Wise man does have desires, but behind all that there is nothing personal to gain behind that. Because he is already fulfilled. His cup is full. His cup is already, he has made it. Now whatever is there, he lives. He lives for others. His instrument called this body is also used for others. They are totally dictated by Ishvara. They are totally dictated and directed by Ishvara. So desires are there, yes. In fact, they have a very beautiful and bright mind, intellect. Because there are no other conflicts, no stress, nothing. So they have beautiful ideas of how to help, how to bring about reformations, how to help do seva. They have beautiful ideas. So you see the difference between binding and non-binding desires. So this is what a wise man is. Secondly, the another way of describing them. See, Arjuna is asking a pertinent question to Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. He was also, when Lord Krishna described, that when you will abide very well in Karma Yoga, when you will go through Karma Yoga, then you will get a mind which is all pure and tranquil, and then very soon you will get the knowledge and you will abide in the knowledge. When Lord Krishna said this, Tada yogam avapsyasi, when your mind will be pure, then you will get yoga. Yoga there means knowledge. You will have knowledge. You will abide in knowledge. Moment Lord Krishna said this, Arjuna had a question. Arjuna was a very good listener. He was all attention. And along with listening, he was thinking also. So, moment Lord Krishna said this, he is asking, that a question arises in his mind. So he says, Bhagavan, tell me, Sthita Prajna, who is this Sthita Prajna? He must have heard, says Sthita Prajna, the word is first used by Arjuna. He says, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha, samadhistasya keshava, samadhistasya Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha keshava. He says, what is the description? Bhasha means not what he speaks, which language he speaks. That doesn't mean language. But what is the, how do you describe a wise man? And second question, Kim prabhasheta? Kim asita? Vrajeta kim? Please tell me all this. Look at his questions. He says, how does he respond? Where does he sit? Sit means where does he abide? How does he respond? Respond to what? Respond to different circumstances arising in his life. He also has his own prarabdha. Don't think that wise man doesn't have his prarabdha. He also has his life to live, and situations, circumstances are unfolding before him. So how does he respond? This Bhagavan describes in one of the verses. Lord Krishna says, in description of a wise man, he says, Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, Sukheshu vigata spruhaha, Vita raga bhaya krodhaha, Stitatihi munihi uchyate. I'll explain. Lord Krishna says, wise man is the one who Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, one who is not disturbed by the situations which we call are very challenging. Situations which according to us are not easy to deal with, not easy to handle. Even in those situations also, he is not perturbed, not disturbed in any way. Then okay, maybe in difficult situations he may not be perturbed. But when favorable situations arise before him, then he must be all elated and then craving for more of that. Will that not happen? So Lord Krishna, what did he say? Dukkeshu anudvignamana sukheshu vigata spruhaha. He has, even when situations are favorable, everything is going my way. If that happens, we are on the top of the world. And we want to hold on to that. One term president, everybody wants to repeat it. I want to hold on to it, not let this go. But for him, no spruha, no greed, no craving that this should remain. When will you feel that this should not pass? When sometimes when there are all favorable, all family has gathered and everything is, there is wedding in the family and everybody has come, and then now this wedding is over and everybody is going to leave, then what will mother, and children are now going away, they were here. What will mother feel? Oh, don't go. Now I'll be again unhappy without you all. You all have come and now you will all again depart. So I wish this continues. I wish this continues. For a wise man, there is no such desire. No spruha, no thought in him ever occurs that let this remain. Why? Because his happiness is bahya labha nirapekshaha. His happiness doesn't depend upon outside situations. It is all, the fountain is right here. So even if this is not there, I am fine. That doesn't mean he is not sensitive. He is not loving. No. He is loving. Only real love is there. Real love. Real feelings are there because that is all unconditional. Generally speaking, we love someone when they fulfill our conditions, when they are as per our desires. But here is a person whose love is totally unconditional. Just because you did that for me, so I am happy? No. You didn't do it for me, so I am no. I love you regardless of how you are. I love you regardless of how you are. When is that possible? Tell me. When is that possible? See, understand, we don't love ourselves. That is why we have problems with the world. We are not, ignorant people are not happy with themselves, not accepting of themselves. We have so many problems inside: discontentment, depression, frustration, blame game, so many things. They are not okay with me, they did this to me, they did this. So many things are there within. So, I'm not happy with myself. And that is the reason I find fault with others. Think of this. When I don't love myself, not accepting of, when self-acceptance is not there, self-acceptance, how am I going to accept others? When I don't accept myself, I don't love myself, how am I going to love you? That won't last long. I will like you as long as you are pleasing me. Moment you utter some single word, Swamini, you don't talk well. You don't know how to teach. Then you should look at me. What I'm saying is, moment somebody displeases us, we are shaken. And all our love and smile, everything just vanishes. So, because we don't love ourselves, we find faults with the world. But with this person, this is why there is total self-acceptance, total. And what is that self? Everything. He doesn't see anything but the self. Isha vasyam idam sarvam. Yat kinchit jagatyam jagata. There is nothing in this creation but Ishvara. And this Ishvara is nothing but the self. Self and Ishvara now are not two different things in his knowledge. In his perception, they are one. So what does he, when he looks at the world, what is he looking at? Himself. Himself. And that is why he is happy. All the while happy. Happy doesn't mean smiling and laughing. Not that. But there is no discontentment. No discontentment. Lives in the present. So, even when difficult situations are there in his life, and they can very well be, even they may have diseases in their body. Prarabdha can bring anything. Now they have become wise, but in their past they have performed certain karmas, and they also may have not a good prarabdha. So they may be also dishonored, they may also be humiliated, they may also have problems in life, not find things, they may have diseases. If you look into the lives of great people, you will find they have lots of problems with their body. They have cancer. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had cancer. Ramana Maharshi ji had cancer. Vivekananda had so many problems because tough life. There was not enough when they were doing their sadhana. They had the toughest time. Vivekananda ji had toughest time. There was not even enough food. There were times when they had to remain hungry. All this is going to take toll upon the body. So, what I am saying, unfavorable situations are there. But still, not disturbed. The pain may be there because of the body. If the cancer, some pain, physical pain will be there, but no sorrow. no glani. There is no sorrow, why did it happen to me? And that there will not be a prayer from within that this should go away. They never pray for themselves. You must have heard about this. Then that when Vivekananda, when he was not a Swami as yet, he was Narendra, he had not taken sannyasa. That time he went through a lot of poverty. They were very, very poor. The entire family, there was a time when they were very poor. And he had lots of problems with all that. So, it occurred to him many times to tell Ramakrishna, he told also Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Thakur, his teacher, that why my situation is like this? Why don't you do something for me? So Thakur said, why don't you ask yourself of the mother, Durga? Why don't you yourself ask? Tell her to remove your poverty. Not once did he say that. Not once could Vivekananda speak that may you remove this, mother. Why? Because no personal, they never asked for themselves. What I am saying, there is dukkha in their life. This kind of situations may arise, but they are unshaken. Why? What is the knowledge? What is the knowledge? Atma, which is my reality. Body is not my reality. Body has come and it will go. Body is subject to many changes. I am not that. I am not that. The distance is there. I am not the body. I am the self which is untouched. Untouched. Asango hi ayam purushaha. Atma is asanga. Asanga means beyond all this. These things don't touch. Let me give you an example. See, if there is there may be a, see, there is an object. Does the space touch this? Even though space covers, this is within the space, but space is not limited by this, not touched by this. Similarly, Atma, consciousness. And who is this consciousness? What is this consciousness? What is that? Somewhere else? This is my truth. I am. What do I say? Always. I am. I means Atma, existence. And along with that, I know that I am. I'm aware of that. That is consciousness. So existence, and I'm aware of that existence. Understood? I'm aware that I exist. This is the self, and it is nothing but Ananda. With I, we attach woman, mother, sister, teacher, father, son, brother, father-in-law. But really, with I, nothing can be attached. I is just I. Rest is all non-self, anatma. So when one possesses this knowledge, naturally they will not be affected. This is another big characteristic, that in face of favorable and unfavorable situations, they are never troubled. They remain unshaken. Plus, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. What is another very important thing about them? That they are totally free of raga, dvesha, bhaya, krodha. Raga means attachment. Dvesha means hatred. Bhaya means fear. Krodha means anger. Now these are the things which we find. These are the impulses which control our life. We have attachment. Raga means what? I cannot do without a thing. I am so deeply attached that I cannot do without it. And wherever there is raga, dvesha is also bound to be. I like this and I do not like this. Then, when there is a possibility that what I like will go away, then there is what? Fear. Fear is, whenever there is some fear, understand there is raga behind that. I am attached to something. I want to live. That is why the fear of death. That is why the fear of death is always there behind. Why? Because I won't remain. So moment doctor says diabetes, high blood pressure, then we are afraid. Then now we have to be careful. Otherwise these messengers have already started coming. So fear is always there because I am attacked. I am attacked. Wise man knows that no, nothing can touch the self. Anger, these are the things, which torment our life. Likes and dislikes and desires and passions and anger. These are the enemies residing within. We have no control over them. Just as Duryodhana says, I know very well what is wrong, what is right. Janami dharmam, he says. I know what is to be done. What is dharma, I know. What is adharma, that also I know. But Duryodhana says, I cannot stay away from adharma. I cannot stay. I know that I am doing wrong to Pandavas. I am doing wrong. Even Dhritarashtra knew. But I cannot stay away from it. There is someone inside. Kenapi devena rudistitena. There is someone residing inside who propels me. And I am like a puppet in its hand. Who is that? Kamaha, Krodhaha, Lobhaha. I want it. I badly want it. And when that doesn't get fulfilled, anger. The same desire takes the form of anger. And if it gets fulfilled, then what? Then lobhaha, I want it. These are the things, the more strongly I desire a thing, and when there are obstacles to that, what happens? I'm already taken in by that object, person, place, whatever. And objects are fewer and people who desire them are more. So there are bound to be obstacles, bound to be hindrances. And when they appear, what happens? I come to know that my desire may not be fulfilled. And so now what arises? Anger. Anger. Why not? Why not? And even when the anger is arising, if I can quell it, if I can subdue it, if I do not allow it to get expressed, then fine. Then I have control over it. I am seeing that eyes are getting red. My body language has changed. My tone has changed. We come to know immediately. When somebody is talking to them, talking to us, and when they get angry, then nobody will fail. Even children come, now daddy is, go away from the room. You come to know with respect to yourself and with respect to others also. But still, the game is in your hands. Unless you express it, still you can control it. But when the force is so much that you just express it, anger goes out of your hands. And then when you express it, what happens? The damage will be done. The damage will be done. It will hurt from where it arises plus where it is targeted. It hurts both the places. It burns, not hurts, burns. The place from where it arises, it burns me plus the victim. These are all the impulses by which an ignorant person is controlled, and they make life hell. When they are there inside, we all know what we go through. There cannot be any peace, any quietude, let alone happiness, in such a mind where there are strong likes and dislikes, strong attachment, strong, anger and jealousy and competition and greed, passion. When all this is there, nobody can be happy. These are all the inner enemies, and most people have them to some or the other extent. And to whatever extent they are there, they trouble us. They trouble us. Wise man is the one who is totally free of this. Imagine how beautiful, no? No likes, no hatred, nothing without which he cannot do. No fear of anything, no fear of anything. No anger. Whatever happens, the anger doesn't arise. You must be knowing the story of, you all know, I'm sure, that when Rama was told on the previous night, Dashratha came and told him that you will be coronated tomorrow. Get up early at 4 and Vashishtaji will come and you get ready for it. And he got up early and was getting ready for this. And then what is the news? You will not only will you not be coronated, but you have to go to the forest for how many years? 14 years. Not 1 or 2, 3 years. 14 years, not in a small time. But still, Rama is all wise. His happiness is from himself. So, moment when Dashratha declared before him that you will be now the king, there was no prasanna, which means there was no elation. He was all composed. And when this news came that you have to go to the forest, again nothing. As if it is nothing. No hatred for Kaikeyi, no hatred for Manthara, nothing. On the contrary, this is good, he says. That Bharata is given a smaller kingdom, that of Ayodhya, whereas I am given the kingdom of the entire forest. And I will retire. I've always wanted to be alone, in solitude. I'm getting this chance. See. Okay. So, this is what knowledge does. And it is said that the wise man is like an ocean. He is like an ocean. In ocean, ocean doesn't go to invite rivers. If they come, well and good. Even if they do not come, he is not, he doesn't go dry. So whether the rivers come or not, he is fine, full to the brim. Wise man is compared to this. Lord Krishna says in the end that, O Arjuna, Esha Brahmi Stitif Partha. Even if you understand this, everybody, because sometimes you feel, that now our time is over. Our whole life we did not work for this, and so now we will not be able to have this knowledge. No, time is not over. Bhagavan says, even if you get this knowledge at the end, what knowledge? That you are what you are seeking. You are already here and now what you are seeking. If you get this knowledge even at the end, and if you understand, and if you abide in that, then you are wise. Then you are wise. Is there any instance of such a knowledge? Yes, such a person in Srimad Bhagavatam. Parikshit came to know that he is going to die, and that Takshak, that serpent, is going to come at the end of the 7th day and is going to kill him, poison him. Parikshit knew this, and he went to Shukadevaji for knowledge of Bhagavatam. Shukadevaji talked before him about Lord Krishna and his all births. Bhagavatam was taught to him. Then, when Parikshit goes and he says, this is going to happen to me, then Shukadevaji is laughing. He laughed. Parikshit saying, why are you laughing? I'm going to die. Shukadevji says, you have 7 days and you know that you are going to die after 6th day. You are sure of this. Whereas we are not even sure as to when the death will come. We are not even sure, whereas you have 7 full days, and in that 7th day you can change your destiny, which did happen. He heard about Bhagavatam, and then before the serpent came, before that serpent came, he was already one with Ishvara. He was already one. Serpent just killed the body which was already gone. You understand what I am saying? So, we can always start, any moment is good enough for this. So this was in brief. I just gave you an idea about how a wise man is. He is the picture of success. And we all have role models. Lord Krishna was like this. Lord Rama was like this. Then there are many Jivan Muktas. So they are our Adarsha. They are our role models. So with this, I would like to end my talk, and I'll just complete and then Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
There's no time, we have to do their bhajan. They are on time.
So we. You want to do it right now? Let's do that.